Workhuman and Gallup report that we just published has all three of those components in there. And as you start to unpack them, just recognize that productivity is the sum of all of the things that a worker does. So we used salary, basically, an average salary, in order to calculate that. The reason that's important is because embedded in that is absenteeism and also safety incidents. So I'll unpack those a little bit separately. But when we look at one of our questions in the Q12, which is called, I have received recognition and praise for doing good work over the last 7 days, we actually did analytics on that question if it went up, if you were able to double the size of that question, what the corresponding uptick in engagement linked to productivity is the way that we came up with the numbers themselves. And our numbers are about $91 million for an organization of 10,000 people. So when we're talking about productivity gains through a successfully implemented recognition program, we're looking at significant improvements in the work that those people that are part of your organization are doing. We also looked at some of the components of the negative aspects of productivity, which are safety incidents, which are across multiple industries we looked at. We can reduce safety incidents by 22% with that same increase in the score on recognition and praise doubling and going up. And then we also looked at absenteeism and whether or not people choose to come to work on an unplanned basis. Currently, it's 5 days that average worker in an organization will have 5 unplanned absences in a day. And of those 5 unplanned absences, if we can reduce them by just 1 of those 5 days, we see a corresponding uptick in their productivity, but also the productivity of the team that's working for. So when you think about that $91 million, inside of that is also safety incidents and the reduction of those costs that are in safety incidents, as well as in the absenteeism. And what we're trying to do through our analysis is to show that there is a real business outcome or a business reason to put a strategic recognition program in place. And we're not talking about just a thank you kind of a program. We're talking about strategic recognition. And the difference is that when you're doing strategic recognition, right, you're pointing it at the needs of the organization and fulfilling it through recognizing people who are doing what you want them to do around recognition. For example, are you celebrating when somebody stops the line or stops a production because they see something wrong and there's a safety concern? If you celebrate that, what you're doing is reinforcing the values of your organization and then pointing it at the outcomes of the organization. The gains in productivity that we see in our net gains analyses are frequently through increased productivity, removal of some of the cost or expenses that are involved, but a lot of times we also see it through strategic customer outcomes, like lifting your customer behaviors. And when leaders embrace the idea or the concept that their recognition can actually help their strategy and help reinforce the things that they value and want to see more of in the organization, that's when you'll see the maximum on your productivity gains. And leaders will begin to see, wait a second, this recognition program isn't something that I do after everything else is done. This is something that I do to get everything else done.